Our daughter, Shannon, was on the rebound from a broken engagement. Anyway, about a week later, she was invited to a friend's wedding. And she didn't want to go. I encouraged her to go.
Well, we both did. We thought that she should get out. Might meet somebody nice. She met Dave.
We know now that he went to that reception with just one thing in mind. To find someone to marry. And then to murder.
She's a party animal. Definitely not your type.
Michael, you did it, man. You actually showed up, said the words.
Dave, I was so nervous standing up there waiting for Jackie that I could actually feel my legs shaking. But when I saw her coming down the aisle, is she beautiful or what?
I just hope I can find someone as nice as you found. Who's Jackie talking to?
Friend of hers. All I can tell you is she just got through with a seriously disastrous relationship. She got all teary-eyed when she saw Jackie in her wedding dress.
What's her name?
I'm drawing a blank.
No.
But she's a nurse at Jackie's hospital.
Why don't you go back to your bride? Entertain your guests. I'll mingle. Okay. Want to get married?
Yeah, right.
Why not? Minister's already here. I've been watching him. He's had a couple of drinks. We might be able to get a discount.
Well, don't you think we should get to know each other first?
I think that's a little old-fashioned, don't you?
I'm an old-fashioned kind of girl.
Then you want some champagne. Waiter. Hi. I'm Dave. Dave Davis.
Well, that's easy to remember.
Well, even when I'm drinking, I hardly ever forget who I am. Who are you?
Shannon Moore.
The Shannon Moore from Toledo?
You've been doing your research, Mr. Dave Davis.
Never underestimate how far a little information will get you.
Maybe you've gone as far as you're going.
Well, I'd like to think we're just getting started.
Oh, I see. So start by telling me about you.
No, my story's too long a story. I'd much rather talk about you.
Oh, isn't there a short version?
Short version. Well, first thing I remember is being in an orphanage in Texas with a bunch of French nuns. Can you believe it?
Not really. Yeah.
It's the truth, actually. Then I went to play football with Bo Schembechler at the University of Michigan. I actually went to the Rose Bowl.
I'll buy that.
A couple of tours in Vietnam.
What do you do now?
I'm just a rich old farmer. At least nobody's shot at me lately.
Oh my God, you were shot?
Not just once.
What happened?
That's the long version. Come on, let's dance.
Isn't it?
Yeah, my daughter from Tulsa gave it to me.
She's the legal secretary, right?
She used to want to be a lawyer. Now she hates them.
You keep exercising. That's the key to getting out of here.
Thank you, dear.
I need a kiss from a beautiful woman, and I'm prepared to do anything to get one.
Anything?
That was easy. Jackie.
I have one more patient to look in on before we can go.
I'll take care of it.
Are you sure?
I'm a newlywed. I know about love. You go on.
It's Mr. Chapman in 107. He needs his iBard 30 minutes before his meal.
Ibart, isopropamide. The guy's got a colon or a bladder kicking up and needs calming down.
Were you a doctor in a previous life, too?
Thought about it for a while. I studied psychopharmacology, University of Michigan.
Yeah, football playing pharmacist. That would have been a good one. What are you doing?
Does that answer your question?
We'll get caught.
You heard what Jackie said. Now it's your turn.
Dave, I can't do this.
Oh, you have to take chances.
I did that the day I met you.
Shannon, you're just glowing. I don't think I've seen you like this since you and Rich. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen you like this before.
Mom, that is because Dave is fantastic. You know, he's so different.
I'm so happy for you, honey.
You and Dad like him, don't you?
Oh, yes, we think Dave is just great. And we think the two of you are a great couple.
You know, I don't know what it is about him. He's fun and exciting, and when I'm with him, everything is more whatever it is in the first place.
Do you love him?
Yeah, I think I do, Mom.
I think you do, too.
I mean, he's lived a life, you know? He's so much more mature and together than the guys I've been going out with. Can I tell you something else?
Of course.
Well, not that it matters because I would love him anyway, but he's rich, too.
Listen, you let this one get away and you're nuts.
Don't worry, Mom, I won't. Oh, he's here.
Dave, come on in.
Thanks.
Girls are in the kitchen. How's the farm?
Oh, it's that time of the year. It's real busy.
Oh, 300 acres.
320, but who's counting?
Oh, carnations are beautiful.
I told him if he keeps this up, I'm going to have to start buying flowers for your mother.
She deserves them. Hi, Mrs. Moore.
Seal. You know me well enough now to call me Seal just like everybody else does. Here, let me take these. I'll put them in a vase and you all go in and sit down.
All right.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, honey, this is delicious. I love this pie.
And here's yours, darling.
Shannon and I have something to tell you.
Well, tell away.
I love your daughter. I guess you already know that. But the farm is a lot of work for one man, and with the crops about to come in, it's getting harder and harder to get into Toledo. So it just seems the sensible thing for us to do is to get married.
You knew.
Daddy, we know it's the right thing.
Well, honey, you just met not more than 2 months ago.
That's long enough to know that I love your daughter.
Dave, it's not long enough. You might be infatuated with her, but you haven't known her long enough to be in love. It takes time to be in love.
Calm down, Bob.
You don't have to tell me to calm down.
Honey, we didn't know each other very well before we got married. That's lasted a lifetime.
Mr. Moore, if Shannon and I have half the marriage that you and Seal have, we'll have it made. And I'll do everything I can to make it happen. I have never in my life felt the way I feel about Shannon. This is forever.
He's right, Daddy. And you like Dave. You said so the first day you met him. Why are you trying to make him feel bad now?
I just can't get used to it, that's all.
I know. You think you're losing Shannon, but you're not. We'll see you. We'll have you out to the farm all the time. And I hope it won't embarrass you, telling you this. But since I lost my father in World War II, I'd like you to be the father that I never had.
Well, you do look happy together.
Never happier. Daddy, this is what I want.
Honey, you're a big girl. I guess I should welcome Dave to the family.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right.
Well, we're gonna have to get to work on this wedding.
Oh, we're gonna save you the trouble and the expense.
It's no trouble.
Mom, Dave has always wanted to be married in one of those picturesque little chapels in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas? But how would everybody get to Las Vegas?
Mom, I know we've waited all my life for this, but Dave and I are so in love, and it just feels right.
I don't want to wait another minute to be Shannon's husband.
I'm sorry. We'll have a big celebration when we get back.
Well, if you really want to do this, and if you've thought about it, then I guess you better just go ahead and do it.
Thanks.
Almost there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
How's it feel, being Mrs. Shannon Davis?
I feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
How do you feel finally getting married?
I waited for just the right woman. That's how I feel.
Tell me about the others.
My life began when I met you. Well, this is ours. 100 acres, prime Michigan farmland.
I thought you said 300.
I did, but I'm just farming 100. Dick Britt, my neighbor, I'm letting him farm the rest. That's what's left of the trailer burned down last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be. Insurance paid more than it's worth.
That was lucky.
Luck had nothing to do with it. I insure everything. The house, me, you, even the car payments are insured. Something happens to me, you won't have anything to worry about.
Except I couldn't live if something happened to you.
Nothing's gonna happen to me, guaranteed.
Be it ever so humble. I know it doesn't look like much. It's only temporary.
Honey, I don't care what it looks like as long as we're together.
As soon as the economy picks up, I'm gonna sell some property, and we're gonna fix this place up.
You know, we could do a lot right now without spending anything.
It's all gonna have to wait. 'Cause I've got something for you. Come on. I just had them delivered before we got here. They're beautiful, huh?
I don't really ride.
Well, you will now. You know what they say. Nothing so good for the inside of a person as the outside of a horse. Come on, stick them out. Come on, let me. Atta girl.
Oh, David.
It's gonna be okay. Don't worry. He's real gentle. We'll take it easy.
What do I do?
You just give him a little kick like this.
Well, I was Dave Davis's neighbor. Sold him his farm. I liked Dave. I wanted to see him do well. He used to come over and help me during harvest time. Me and my wife, Annie, were so happy for him when he brought Shannon home. She was the sweetest thing, and she loved him. He'd be telling one of his stories, and she'd just be hanging on every word.
So the next thing I know, I'm walking point, and then, boom, landmine.
Oh, my God, Dave, I saw men step on the things you couldn't even find the pieces.
No, this is a Viet Cong sapper. They had them all over. They're not very powerful. I mean, they chew you up enough, though. I'll show you.
Hey, I was lucky.
Blew me forward on my stomach. But Billy Gage, though.
It went straight through his chest.
Well, what happened to him?
Well, he died. And right there in my arms. So we stopped to bury him. About halfway through the job, I get pinned down by sniper fire. The rest of my company splits off into the jungle. I ended up spending the night in that damn grave right next to Billy. Next morning, I'm laying there, and real still. I hear footsteps. I look up, and there's a Kong looking down. It's the last thing he ever saw was me shooting right between the eyes.
Oh, my Lord. How awful.
Well, we're gonna play cards or what?
14, 2, hut, 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 hey! All right, go, go!
I'm gonna pull the stuff off the barbecue now.
Hey, guys! We're getting ready to eat!
Okay, last play, last play. All right. 14, 33, hut, hut, hut. Dave!
But the great Michigan quarterback, Dave Davis, has lost his touch.
Hey, well, I didn't play quarterback.
I love you more.
I'm going to see if your dad needs any help, okay?
Okay, sweetie.
Shannon, honey, would you go get the potato salad out of the refrigerator for me, please? Yeah.
Isn't he neat, Mom?
He's neat. He's neat.
I'll help carry the drinks.
Oh, thanks.
It's real good to see you and Dave so happy. You never felt that way when Alana and the kids lived here.
Alana?
Yeah, Dave's first wife. You knew, didn't you?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I knew. I'd forgotten her name, that's all.
Oh.
Well, you did pretty well.
Yeah.
First time?
No, I haven't played in a while. I visited Dave and Shannon on the farm a lot. I remember on my last visit, it was really weird because Shannon took me up to her room and she told me that before I make a commitment to someone, to be sure to ask a lot of questions. She told me not to be gun-shy, to ask about extramarital affairs, previous wives, everything. We were alone 5 minutes before Dave knocked on the door telling us to get back to the party. And she never brought it up again.
Dick and I are going to take his tractor over to... What's wrong?
These aren't mine.
Well, the short sale, not mine.
I want an answer, Dave.
Well, I must have brought them home from the laundromat, thinking that they were yours.
Are they Alana's? You have children too, don't you?
Honey,
don't,
look,
just don't. How could you?
I didn't want you to know. The way I feel is that you're You're the only woman in the world. She didn't exist.
That is not your decision to make.
Well, I'm not perfect.
I want to know about her.
She got pregnant. We were only married a few years. And we were never in love.
But you have children, and you never see them.
She won't let me. She told the judge a bunch of lies about me.
But you never talk about them. There are no pictures around here.
This is too painful. She already took my kids from me. Don't let her take you from me, too. I love you.
I want to believe you.
Then just do it. Because it's the truth. And I adore you.
Tim, come here.
We saw a lot of Shannon and Dave. And most weekends we'd drive out from Toledo and stay at the farm. And Dave treated us like royalty. We thought he was great. We were so fond of him.
Never saw them fight until that last day. I knew something was wrong. We must have really interfered with his plans.
Band gonna be ready for the trip?
Well, that's the plan. And I thought maybe we'd take the horses out later.
I don't think so. I just saw my folks at the gas station. They're right behind me.
Shannon. You know, we got things to do besides entertain your mom and dad.
Hamburgers okay for dinner?
You didn't tell me they were coming.
You didn't tell me I had to clear everything with you. Besides, you like my parents.
Well, not every weekend. Not this weekend.
What? They're only staying one night. Mom's got a ceramics class or something.
We're trying to leave for Florida. Yeah.
Exactly, which makes this our last chance to see them before we go.
Hello, Dave.
Dave?
I'll go find Shannon.
Okay.
Hello? Shannon.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, honey. Honey, what's wrong?
Nothing.
Something's wrong, Shannon.
Just don't go, okay?
Oh, honey.
CL. I think we're interrupting something here.
I was just explaining to Bob, we have an awful lot of work to do to get ready for our trip.
Dave, we don't even have to stay overnight. Maybe we'll stay for dinner and then be on our way.
Maybe another weekend would be better. Can we take a rain check?
I think we should stay the night. It's an awful long drive in the dark.
Shannon and we were going to take the horses out before dinner.
I thought we had so much to do.
Shannon, I think we need to talk.
Do you mind?
No, you two go ahead. I'll make dinner.
Look, let's not fight.
You've just been acting so strange. Everything's a big secret with you.
Look, I'm still not used to getting married, and I know I've been stressed out over this trip.
Oh, well, you don't have to take it out on me.
I don't mean to.
All I want to do is make things good for you, and I'm sorry.
I just wanted the way it was supposed to be.
We need some time alone. This ride's gonna be good.
Believe me, it's just what we need. Come on, girl, let's go.
You gotta help me. Oh my God, Dave, what's happened? Shannon's in an accident. Annie, call an ambulance now. Your car. All right. All right.
There she is, between those trees. Slow down. Slow down.
She's still got a pulse, but it's weak. Let's put her in the back of your car and then take her to Willow Point. Hey, Willow Point's too small. We gotta have an ER doctor on the job. There's sure to be one in Hillsborough. Oh, Willow Point is closer. They've got a breathing machine. That's what she needs. Dave, she's my wife. Coming in, what have you got?
25-year-old female. No pulse, no respiration.
I'm just gonna get in the way. Give her a chance.
Want some atropine and some epinephrine on board. Get the crash cart, stat. Let's get the EKG in here quickly now.
Can I call her parents, Dave?
Oh, God, Dave.
Listen, they need to know. Now, I'll call them. Do you have a phone number?
They're back at the house.
Your house? All right, look, I'll be right here, Dave. I'm just gonna call Shannon's parents.
Come on.
It's been 15 minutes.
All right, everybody, let's call it. Let's put down 3:45.
She didn't get in until 4:15.
DOA. We've done all we can do. All anyone can do. I'm sorry.
She can't be dead. She can't be.
We couldn't save her. It was too late.
She talked to me. She told me it was okay.
Do you want someone to look after those scratches, Mr. Davis? I'll leave you alone. I'm here if you want to talk later.
Excuse me, are you Mr. Davis? I'm Deputy Glassman from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. This is my partner, Deputy Alvarez. I realize this is a very difficult time for you, but we're required to take a statement about what happened. Can we do this now? I understand it's a horseback riding accident. Maybe you can just begin by telling us what happened.
Well, we started down a small trail, brushy, thick. I heard Shannon scream. Somehow she fell off of her horse. I'm first aid trained. Well, I examined the wound. She had a good, strong pulse. I was thinking that I was going to have to go and get help, but I didn't want to leave her here. She was conscious by the time I dragged her to the edge of the woods, but she couldn't get up.
No, go get help. I can't leave you here, Shannon.
Got to.
I rode through the woods just as fast as I could to get to Dick's, and that's how I got these scratches. Shannon's folks are here. Would you?
We're just about done here anyway. Did you have insurance on your wife's life, Mr. Davis?
Insurance? No.
Okay. Thank you.
Dick, is she going to be all right?
Tell me she's alive, Dick. I can't do that, Bob. Oh, no.
I have to see her, Dick. I have to see her.
I know, Sue.
Oh,
She's gone. She's gone.
Something's wrong, Sharon. Just don't be okay. Oh, honey.
Shannon wants to be cremated.
Cremated? No, Dave, you can't cremate my daughter.
I told you that's what she wanted.
No, Dave, you can't do that. She's Catholic.
Shannon and I have talked about this several times. She said that when she died, she wanted to be cremated.
No! Shannon would never have said that. She wouldn't want to be cremated.
I'm her husband, and I'm going to see that she gets what she wanted.
Dave, I won't let you do this.
What? You can't stop me.
I'll get a judge if I have to.
Is everything okay?
Dave, give her back to her parents. You've only had her for 10 months. Let her go. Dave, is it the money for the burial? What about insurance?
I think there was a small insurance policy that the hospital had given her. But your name was on it as the beneficiary.
We'll pay for the funeral. We'll pay for the plot if the money's the problem. But please, Dave, let us take her back and bury her in Toledo, please.
All right. But I want the casket closed at that funeral.
Listen to me, honey. Something's not right here. Shannon told me that he took out a big policy on her right after the marriage. Why would he lie about that now? Why would he lie about it?
I didn't think Dave should be alone that night. So I made him come home with me. We sat up for a while, and then he went to bed. I was too upset to sleep. Me and Annie had a good cry that night. We just liked Shannon so much. It's what happened the next morning that made me feel like I'd been run over by a truck. Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dick. You know, does Ralph Weston still want to sell his farm?
By God, Dave. How can you talk about real estate on the day after your wife died?
Forget it. I guess I'm just trying to keep my mind off this thing. Thanks for the coffee, Dick.
What are you doing, Seal?
It won't come out. I keep washing, but it just won't come out.
Even if it did, it wouldn't bring her back.
I just keep thinking if this will come out, then I'm going to stop all those terrible things I'm thinking about Dave. But it won't come out.
Throw it away, Seal.
This is Shannon's blood bowl. This means something. What is this?
Dave dropped it off for Shannon to be buried in.
Shannon wouldn't want to be buried in this old thing.
I guess Dave picked it out.
If my little girl's going to spend eternity in something, it's not going to be this.
Now, Mr. Davis said that he carried her from the woods. Where do you think that would be?
Well, over in this area here. This must be the place where she hit her head, don't you think?
Probably.
Now, do you need to take samples or anything?
What would you like us to prove, Mr. Britton? That it's blood, that it belongs to Shannon Moore? I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Here are her shoes.
Oh, Annie, don't pick those up, hon. They may need them for evidence. Now, they're untied.
You can go ahead and pick them up, ma'am. I don't think we'll need them to file an accident report. You got what you need? Okay. Well, thank you very much for your help, folks.
Look at these marks. Now, doesn't it look like somebody tied up a horse here?
Mr. Britton, I appreciate this woman was your friend, but accidents happen. I'm sorry. Thank you for your time, folks.
Well, you go ahead and take them back.
Seal, I want you to know that everything's going to be taken care of. We will do everything that we can. How's Bob?
Oh, he's not very well, I'm afraid.
Please sit.
I want Shannon to be buried in this.
Of course. Is there anything else I can do?
Yes. When they bring the body in, I'd like you to look under her fingernails. See if there's any evidence of Shannon's having clawed or scratched somebody.
I'm sorry, Seal. It's too late for that.
Why too late?
The body's already here. Been embalmed and cleaned.
Well, how could they have finished the autopsy so soon?
There was no autopsy.
Shannon Moore Davis lived her life with a sweetness that left its mark on everyone here. As we commend her body to the ground, realize her spirit dwells in each and every one of us. May the Lord welcome Shannon on her journey to the table of God's children in heaven. With faith and hope in eternal peace, let us assist her now with a silent prayer.
And Seal,
Hi, Tracy.
Dave.
Dave, we're just so sorry. I really appreciate having friends like you. Shannon and I were very lucky. Excuse me. Mrs. Warwick, I'm sorry. I'm curious. Do you know when the death certificate will become available?
Well, that usually happens within a couple of weeks. It's a paperwork thing, but it won't be long.
Would you do me a favor? Would you please let me know when you have it? I'd like to have a copy.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
I'm Jane Thomas, Dave's mother.
Oh, please, sit down.
Thank you.
It's so nice to meet you.
Not under these circumstances, I'm sure. I'm so sorry. Dave told me what a wonderful girl Shannon was.
Thank you.
I don't want to disturb your wife, but please tell her how sorry I am, and sorry that they never had a wedding where we all could have met earlier. Dave worshipped Shannon. I just don't know how he's going to handle this.
Yes, after all the other things he's been through.
How's that?
Well, you know, the Vietnam and friends of his dying in his arms.
Vietnam? Well, there must be some mistake.
What do you mean?
Dave was never in Vietnam.
The Marines?
No, not the Marines either.
Just after the funeral, a group of us went to dinner to get our minds off of it. Dave ordered margaritas and nachos, and when the drinks came, he made a toast to Shannon. It was really bad. It went something like, "To my loving wife, who is now smiling down on us. I wouldn't change a thing. I just wish that she could have cooked better."
Hey, babe. It's me.
Papers are saying that girl's dead, Dave. What's going on?
She's as alive as you and me.
Dave, she fell off a horse and died. It's here in black and white.
You ought to know better than to believe everything you read in the papers.
What are you telling me, Dave? What are you telling me?
This woman has a new name, a new house, and someone new to watch over her.
So your job's over now?
Well, I'm packing for a little R&R in the Florida sun.
I want to come with you.
Why not?
Seal, I just got off the phone with the funeral parlor.
Dave's just coming up the sidewalk.
All right, listen to me, Seal. The lady at the funeral parlor said that 6 separate insurance companies called. They want to see copies of the death certificates. What do we say to him now?
Nothing. We don't want him to know that we know.
All right.
What's wrong?
I've had a bad day. I'm sure you understand that, Dave.
These are some things I'm sure Shannon would want you to have. You can come out to the house later and look around after I get back.
Oh, you going someplace?
I just gotta get out of here.
I'm sure you do.
I'll be in the desert. Don't know where. I'm just gonna keep driving, trying to heal. Well, I guess that's it.
Dave, how do we reach you if we want to?
Well, you can't. There are no phones in the desert.
Jerry! Jerry!
Did you get your errand done?
Oh, fine, no problem.
Great. Oh. I can't wait to get to Florida.
Me neither.
Well, I'd really like to help you, Mrs. Moore, but there are no laws against travel in this country.
But there's laws against murder.
Yes, there are, Mr. Moore.
Well, he murdered our daughter, now he's trying to run away. Don't you understand that?
You think so anyway.
What about all the insurance policies?
I've already checked into that. He stands to get over $300,000.
Yes, and he lied about them.
Which makes the man guilty of lying, Mrs. Moore. It doesn't make him guilty of homicide.
Damn it, Detective. What the hell does it take?
Well, first you have to prove that a murder was even committed. Your daughter's death was ruled an accident.
But they'd know that that wasn't the truth if they did an autopsy.
Maybe, but they didn't.
Detective, I want you to understand something. A mother knows.
Well, I don't think you're going to want to do this. But there is one way to settle it.
Shannon Davis. That was her name for 8 months. She was Shannon Moore for 24 years.
My name is Donald Voorhees, prosecutor for Hillsborough County. I have reviewed the report of the autopsy performed on the body of Shannon Davis. I can summarize by saying there was a single wound at the back of Mrs. Davis's head and evidence of bleeding on the right side of the brain. And that there was no evidence that Mrs. Davis had been beaten or of any foul play. In short, the injuries were consistent with the initial information, that she was thrown from her horse and that she struck her head on a rock. I am recommending that the investigation by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department be discontinued.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough for me, and the case is closed.
Isn't it true that Dave Davis stands to collect $330,000 in insurance if his wife's death is ruled an accident?
I don't think I know you.
Billy Bowles, Detroit Free Press.
Mr. Bowles, what you refer to is circumstantial evidence only. As I've already explained, the autopsy report states that a crime has not been committed. Now, if there has been no crime, I don't really have to look for suspects now, do I?
Have you ever even questioned Mr. Davis?
You people in the media want to try a case which doesn't exist. Now, you may not have thought about this, but I believe Mr. Davis has certain rights this department has an obligation to protect.
What about Shannon? What about her rights?
Mrs. Moore, I know how you must feel.
Oh, no, you don't. Nobody knows how we feel.
Look, Mr. Voorhees, we read this report, too. Let me tell you something. I may be a shop steward for a bunch of painters, but the way I read it is that the coroner can't make a proper autopsy because Shannon was already embalmed. And when that happens, you can't test for suffocation. Now, what do you have to say about that?
Well, it's possible that some mistakes were made, but we can only go on what the experts tell us.
What experts?
Mrs. Moore, as I'm trying to explain, every citizen has rights, including Mr. Davis.
Standing up for him? What about Shannon? She was only 25 years old and she's lying in the ground. Who's gonna stand up for Shannon?
Seal, why don't you come back to bed?
I can't sleep.
Honey, we're doing everything we possibly can, but we can't let this whole thing poison our lives like this. Where will it end?
It'll end when that killer is behind bars.
Are you Alana Henderson?
Who are you?
Billy Bowles with the Detroit Free Press. Wondering if I might talk to you for a minute about your ex-husband, Dave Davis.
I don't have anything to say about him. Please go away.
You know, you're an important part of this story.
No, I'm not. Leave my name out of it, please.
Mrs. Henderson.
Look, Mr. Bowles, I got a restraining order against Dave. If I have to, I can get one against you.
You won't need that. And I'll leave right now if you want. But my editors are going to make me write this article anyway.
I feel terrible about that girl and her family. I can tell you that. Is that enough?
Did you ever have reason to believe that Dave was violent?
You mean other than when he was hitting me?
Try not to take long. You said he hit you?
I was raised Catholic. I was determined to stay in the marriage no matter how bad it got. One day, Dave came up behind me and hit me, blindside. When I came to, he said, "You're lucky you're still alive." That's when I filed for divorce.
Miss Hobson?
Look, if you're the man from the paper, I don't have anything to say to you.
I just need to ask a few questions. Following the death of Shannon Moore Davis, did you go to Florida with David Davis?
You don't know the real story. Why don't you report that?
Is David Davis in town now?
I have nothing to say to you.
Is that his van?
Look, she doesn't have anything to say. Didn't you hear?
Do you have anything to say, Mr. Davis?
If I have a statement, I'll call you.
Did you kill your wife?
Why don't you call my lawyer and get your foot out of my door? I'll do it for you.
I thought this was Miss Hobson's house.
Davis had been invited to speak to high school students about the Vietnam War. He described what it's like to watch men die in combat, and he broke down and cried. According to the Defense Department, Dave Davis was never in the service and never in Vietnam.
Several of Davis's friends now say they felt sorry for him because of his many tragedies. Orphaned as an infant, wounded in war, and blind in a hospital for a year, then injured in an industrial accident.
They had learned that these stories Davis told them were untrue. For God's sakes, Dave, don't you have something to say about this?
Everything I told you about Vietnam was true. But if you ask the government, they'll deny it. I can't tell you any more about it, but I was in the Marines.
Don't lie to me, Dave. You've lied to me enough already.
I've never lied to you. But ask me about anything.
The insurance policies. I heard you say that you didn't have any, and now it turns out you have 6 of them.
I thought they were talking about health insurance. And about the life insurance, I didn't even know I had any. I was confused about what double indemnity meant. I was in shock, Dick.
What about your father? You said he died in World War II, and it says right here he lives in Michigan.
They're right. The man listed on those papers as my father lives in Michigan. But that's not my biological father. The man I think of as my father got my mother pregnant on leave but never came home.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm just not buying what you're selling.
Don't be so sure.
What do you mean?
Well, I can't live here anymore, Dick. Not with all this suspicion. Hell, you're my best friend, but Shannon's parents and that reporter have done such a number on me, you don't even believe me.
I got work to do.
Dick? I was thinking of selling my farm. Thought maybe you'd like to buy it. I'll make you a good deal.
Well, I was a little skeptical when I read the letter Dick Britton wrote our office. My first reaction was the girl's parents must have stirred up the locals. Another case of grieving parents who couldn't accept their daughter died in an accident. This happens sometimes with grieving parents. But then I met them.
When they bought the video camera, I thought it was a big waste of money. But now, when I see Shannon and Dave,
Maybe it'll help me understand why you're so suspicious.
Do you have any idea how hot it can get driving home to Hillsboro from Toledo in a car without air conditioning? Well, I don't know, but it's pretty sweaty. Anyway, we still don't have air conditioning, but it is not a problem anymore. Look at this.
Borrowed $10,000 to buy that car, and then he takes out more life insurance on Shannon so that if she dies, the loan gets paid off. He now owns that car free and clear.
Bring the camera over. I want to say hi to your mom and dad.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just can't stand to watch this. What I don't understand is why would her shoes be off if she fell from the horse? Why would the laces be untied? Something happened in those woods that was not an accident. Oh, Detective Brooks, can you help us? We're running out of people to ask.
I don't know. But I'm gonna try.
Thank you.
You Dr. Roger Fulbright?
That's me. That must make you the eager young detective with a grand theory about the Davis case.
I got a theory, yes.
Well, I'm chained to the desk for the afternoon, so let's hear it.
All right. Davis and his wife were alone in the woods, but he knew he couldn't repeatedly strike her head again and again if he wanted us to believe she died falling off a horse.
Meaning you think he only had one chance to connect her head with that rock.
He had to be sure she wasn't going to put up much of a fight.
Therefore, our young detective theorizes Davis might have used some kind of drug to immobilize her.
He took pharmacology classes. He's a smart guy.
Wouldn't a smart guy worry that might turn up in our lab work?
Not if he thought he could sell the horse story and get her cremated right away.
Chemical analysis of Shannon Moore's tissue.
What's this?
Could be your drug.
You knew about this all along?
Could also be a fatty acid. So far, we've eliminated about 1,000 possibilities out of, oh, say, 250,000.
So keep checking.
It doesn't work that way. I don't have the time, the money, or the equipment to track this down. I'm never going to be able to tell you what it is. You have to tell me, and then I try to verify it.
I have to tell you.
Isn't that why they pay you the big bucks, Detective?
Look at him. Just look at him. Son of a...
I want you to go in there, sit across the table from him, show him you're not afraid of him.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid of what I might do to him. He should be on trial for murder. Why should I have to sue him for wrongful death?
If we win this suit, we keep the insurance money out of Dave's hands. The minute he gets it, he could run.
Whatever we have to do to get him. For Shannon.
All right, now let me just try to summarize some of these things. Death of your father, playing football for Bo Schemblecker in the Rose Bowl, serving in Vietnam, growing up in an orphanage. Now, you've admitted lying about all these things, haven't you?
Apparently so.
Let me ask you something. Help me out here. Why tell people something if it's not true?
I have no answer.
Your answer is you have no answer.
That's what he said.
Let's get back to Shannon. Did you love her?
Of course.
Of course. Now, you've told us you traveled to Florida 2 days after your wife's funeral. Who did you go with?
As a friend helped me to drive there.
What was the name of that friend?
Jerry Hobson.
Jerry Hobson. That's a woman's name, though, isn't it?
Yes.
The time it took traveling to Florida involved overnight stops, did it not?
Yes.
Yes. Did you and Jerry Hobson share a room during that trip?
I don't have to answer that question.
Oh, Mr. Davis, I'm afraid you do. You're sworn as if you were standing in front of a judge. Do you want to tell him? The question is, did you and Jerry Hobson share a room during a trip to Florida immediately after your wife's funeral?
Yes.
Son of a bitch, you never loved anybody but yourself.
Please, Mr. Moore, any more outbursts, you'll have to leave the room. Let's continue, Mr. Davis. Let's go back to the day of the accident. Did you pull your wife from her horse and hit her head against a rock?
No.
Why should we believe you now when you've acknowledged that you lied in the past?
I didn't kill my wife. That's why you should believe me, because I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
You're kidding.
No,
You have
no.
a satellite?
That's the guy I'm going to interview.
For your bodyguard company?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look that tough.
Well, looks can be deceiving. I'll just be a few seconds.
Congratulations. You're now fully licensed to drive in the Sunshine State.
Oh, this is good.
Nothing but the best.
I also paid for a Social Security card. What's this?
It's a library card. It's a blue light bonus special. Just a little insurance.
Oh, you can never have too much insurance.
Detective Brooks, Michigan State Police.
Do I have to talk to you?
Not yet. Where's Dave?
Florida. That's where he lives now.
Maybe he told you about his deposition?
That has nothing to do with me.
I think it does. Staying at a motel with a man whose wife died 3 days before? I'd say that's pretty suspicious behavior from both of you.
I had nothing to do with that woman's death.
I believe you, but you gotta admit it
Look,
sounds...
Dave told me my name never came up.
Wouldn't be the first time he lied to you, would it?
Do you know for a fact that this Shannon Moore wasn't in the witness protection program?
Is that what he told you? Shannon Moore's no witness. She's the victim.
Well, are you sure it's really her? That it's really her body?
It's her. Whatever he told you, it's her. They were really married. And she's dead.
But Dave works for the government, doesn't he? I mean, he's an agent or something?
It's one of his better stories.
God, I've been so stupid. If I'd have married him, I'd be the...
He talked about marriage?
almost from the beginning.
Why didn't you marry him?
I wasn't ready. I mean, he scared me off. He still had the rings from the woman before me who backed out. It was all too planned.
This woman before you. You remember her name?
Yeah. He's in trouble, huh?
He's under investigation. This is his background.
I don't know what I can tell you. It's been a few years. Dave came and went a lot from my life. It was always Tokyo or Belize or something. You know, he works for the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
I guess worked is probably the word now that he's in this trouble.
Did he ever propose?
Cappy? Oh, yeah.
Cappy?
He gave himself a nickname, Cappy, for captain. He thought he was a big-time sailor.
But you didn't marry him.
Almost did. We had the tickets, and I was almost on the plane when I backed out.
Where were you going to get married?
Las Vegas. He wanted to get married in one of those tacky little chapels. I just couldn't handle that.
You ever remember Dave talking about drugs? Bring up the subject?
I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but I remember one time, this must have been 1978, he read me an article about some physician that F. Lee Bailey defended. He used a drug he said was the perfect murder weapon because after it kills somebody, it can't be detected in an autopsy.
He actually told you that?
Oh, yeah. Dave could get excited about some pretty unusual things. He used to read a lot of murder mysteries.
Try this.
Pentactin, dioxynyl chloride. Pretty good guess for a rookie. Where'd you get this?
A lot of farmers like Davis have access to it. See if it matches.
Oh, it kills people dead, all right. Paralyzes every muscle in the body so you can't even breathe. The problem is, after about 10 minutes, it breaks down in human tissue so guys like me can't find it. Sorry.
Try it anyway.
Well, it will make you feel better. We'll rule it out, and then you can get back to work.
Great.
It'll only take a couple of minutes to get a reading.
Dioxynyl chloride, right?
Now this is the unknown compound found in Shannon Moore's tissues.
Bingo.
Perfect match. I've got to run more tests to replicate this. I've got to be able to prove you can extract dioxynyl chloride from human tissue, but if I can, it sure looks like you've got your man.
This gives me the proof Shannon Moore was murdered. I still got to prove Dave Davis had access to the drug.
Hey, detective. Good call.
Detective Brooks, this is my niece, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Detective. Now, honey, you just tell him what you told us.
Well, there were about a dozen needles in the butter compartment in the fridge.
Hypodermic needles?
Yeah. I guess Dave used them for the animals. There were also some vials in the freezer. You know, the kind where you put the needle through and pull the drug out?
Do you remember the name of the drug?
Oh, I don't know. It sounded like penicillin, but I guess I'm just not sure.
Here, take a look. There are 5 names here. Can you remember one of them?
They looked like anyway. That one.
Which one?
I don't know how you say it. Pentactin?
Okay. Well, thanks.
Okay. Sorry I couldn't be of more help.
Thanks, Trace.
I'm sorry it wasn't that diox or whatever it is you were looking for.
There are 7 brand names for dioxynyl chloride. One of them is Pentactin.
Oh, my God.
You've both been through so much, I don't know how to ask you this. We need your permission to exhume Shannon again.
Dave?
Just checking in.
Dave, where the hell are you?
I'm around. Hey, listen.
Where are you?
Closer to settling that civil suit?
It's not a civil matter anymore, Dave.
What do you mean?
I mean, since you last checked in, they exhumed Shannon Moore's body looking for needle marks. They found some. They impaneled a grand jury, and there's a federal warrant out for your arrest.
Are they out of their minds?
Dave, they may be, but your position now is critical.
So as my attorney, what's your advice?
My advice is to get your butt back to Michigan ASAP. This is no game, Dave. This is a murder charge.
Okay. I'll take the first plane back.
Where are you?
I'm on my way, never mind.
What is it?
I'm being charged with negligence in the death of my wife. I've got to return to Michigan.
How soon?
Well, I've got to get you on a plane back to Lansing, and then I'll follow in a few days.
Did you hurt your wife, Dave?
Mona, I hurt my wife about as much as I've hurt you, which is not at all. And I loved her the way I love you. Hi.
Hi. Can I help you?
I'd like to buy a ticket to Hawaii.
Okay, your name, please.
Bell. David Meyer Bell.
You look like a drowned rat. Come on in. Bob?
We lost him. We tried everything. We even printed thousands of flyers, distributed them in Florida and the Caribbean area. We followed leads. Nothing. In 1979, Dave Davis married Shannon Moore. In 1980, he killed her. By 1987, it looked like he'd gotten away with the perfect crime. I hated that.
Yeah. Hey, Jack.
Hello. How you doing? Got an idea on the Dave Davis case. You're still the assigned prosecutor, right?
Yeah, it's somewhere in the bottom of that pile.
Well, get it out. I got a plan to find him.
Look, Brooks. Davis is dead. All right, he probably tried to con some Caribbean badass.
He's too smart for that. He's alive.
So, what's this brilliant new plan?
Unsolved mysteries?
Oh.
Why not? We've done everything else. It's the only way we're going to get that case from the bottom of the stack and put it on top again.
Well, we can't. The grand jury judge said we can't talk to the media.
Let's call him up and ask him again. I mean, Jack, we do nothing. This guy got away with murder. You didn't get into this business to let people do that. We tried everything else. What do we got to lose?
Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to ask.
If Shannon's death had been an accident, I could have accepted it. But what I couldn't accept is seeing a young girl ride off on horseback and never come back to me. What happened out there, I don't know. But I do know that she called for me and I didn't hear her. I can't accept that. I never...
Oh, that's all right. We're going to get him. Wherever he is, he knows we're still after him. We'll get him. We'll get him.
On July 23rd, 1980, in a small Michigan farming community, newlyweds Dave and Shannon Davis prepared to go for a sunset horseback ride. Within an hour, Shannon was dead. After Shannon's death, Bob and Lucille Moore began to discover that Dave Davis was not the man he seemed to be. Dave Davis has now disappeared. There's a warrant out for his arrest. But the Moores are afraid that their son-in-law may have gotten away with a perfect crime.
My wife thought you looked like a chipmunk on TV. I told her the camera puts about 10 pounds on you. So, nice color scheme we got here.
Our Cluster called from Anchorage. Pretty clear he lived there for a while.
Worked as a pilot. Huh. Got some calls from L.A.?
Santa Monica area. Nothing in the last 5 years. Yeah. I even got a call. Someone who thought Davis was the actor who played him in The Recreation.
Got anything to bring this bastard in?
No, not yet. And the phone stopped ringing.
Well, I never thought I'd say this to anyone, but pray for a rerun. Good night.
Good night.
He's a cold-blooded murderer. That's what he is. I want to see him locked up. Put away. Before he can do this to any other girl. Because he will. Believe me, he will.
Hello. This is Detective Don Brooks, Michigan State Police.
I can help you find the man that you showed on television.
Well, ma'am, what makes you think that?
I am looking at his picture right now.
How do you know it's him?
How do you know it's not? You tell me what you know first.
Well, there's just one small problem with that. If I tell you, the judge starts to act like I told you what to say. I need you to tell me something first.
Like what?
Like something that proves we're talking about the same man.
If he is a killer and he gets off, then he could come after me.
We'll keep your identity a secret.
Is your Mr. Davis known by a nickname?
Here's where I really need you to tell me.
Cappy. Have you ever heard of him called Cappy?
Could you hold one moment, please?
We got him. Yes, where? We got him.
Ma'am, this is very important. Could you please tell us where you last saw him?
Pago Pago, American Samoa.
What do you think?
I'm not getting a good look at his face.
Last trip to Freedom. Freedom?
Vacation.
Where you going?
I don't know. May just get in my plane and keep on flying.
It's him. Let's go.
Are you David Richard Davis?
I don't know anybody.
Are you David Meyer Bell?
Who are you?
I have a warrant for the arrest of David Richard Davis, a.k.a. David Meyer Bell, on charges of murder and unlawful flight.
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. If you give up either of these rights, anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You understand that?
Yes. I ask you again, are you David Richard Davis?
What can I say? It's me.
Hello? Oh, thank God. Got him.
I think maybe it's time for us to talk.
I just don't understand why all of this is happening, how anybody could think that I killed my wife.
That's what you did, isn't it?
No. I loved her, and I don't know how anybody could think that.
You mean other than the fact you ran on a federal warrant and changed your name?
I was scared. But I never hurt my wife. Never.
Why don't we just get started, huh?
Shannon meant everything to me. This is all a big misunderstanding.
Let's get something straight. I know everything about you. I know you like to give everybody red and white carnations.
I know you never picked up a football in college, much less played in a Rose Bowl. I know every single job you ever had, especially during the times you said you were in Vietnam. I talked to the wife you said you never had and most of your girlfriends. I can even tell you what they think of you in the sack. I even know what size underwear you wear because you left your luggage on your boat when you skipped out. So you don't want to answer my questions, don't. But spare me the bull because I'm on to you. I don't want to hear any more of your lies, okay?
Maybe I should talk to a lawyer.
Fine.
I'll tell you what. When it's over, let's have a beer. Then I'll answer all your questions.
I'll tell you what. When you're in prison, Dave, I'll come visit you and we'll have a cup of coffee and you can tell me what it felt like to snuff the life out of a girl who adored you. Huh?
Mr. Davis said in your presence that it was Shannon's desire to be cremated?
Yes. David wanted her to be cremated right away.
Well, based on your knowledge of your daughter, did she have any stated position on cremation?
She was raised Catholic. She never would have wanted that.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. No further questions.
Ms. Moore, you're interested in fairness in these proceedings against your son-in-law, are you not?
Yes, I am.
Now, as I understand your direct testimony, it's your opinion that Shannon would not have wanted to be cremated because she was raised Catholic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Was it not also against the Catholic religion at that time to marry a divorced person?
Yes, but...
And yet, even though Shannon had been raised a Catholic, and even though David had been previously married and divorced, Shannon still married him. Isn't that true?
She didn't know.
That David had been previously married? She told you that?
Well, she didn't exactly tell me, but I know that she didn't know.
But she did not actually say it to you. And did she ever tell you of her wishes not to be cremated?
No.
No. So you can't be entirely certain that Shannon did not want to be cremated, can you?
No.
Thank you, Miss Moore.
They're there now. Mr. and Mrs. Moore, are you glad the trial's almost over?
I think we'll be glad when there's some justice done.
Were you surprised that Dave Davis did not testify in his own defense?
How could he? He'd just have to admit to all his own lies.
We demonstrated that Dave Davis knew that his wife would die before he even met Shannon Moore. A year earlier, he had formulated a near-perfect plan of premeditated murder.
But he wasn't picky. No, Shannon Moore was merely the most unfortunate of a long series of girlfriends. And she was much too sweet and too much in love to say no to his deadly proposal of marriage. Now, Dave Davis is the only person in this courtroom that knows exactly what happened almost 10 years ago on that fatal horseback ride. But the evidence that we have presented paints a pretty clear picture. Shannon Moore did not fall off her horse. She did not accidentally hit her head on the only rock in the entire area that was big enough to hurt her. No. Dave talked Shannon into stopping on the pretext of a romantic interlude to make up for a fight. Remember, her shoes were found untied and her blouse was unbuttoned. Sadly, Shannon desperately wanted her marriage to work, and Dave Davis took advantage of that.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Now, what if someone sees us?
Oh, no one's gonna see us.
Now, a direct hit to the bloodstream with dioxinal chloride will drop you like a stone in just a few seconds.
But on his first try, Dave Davis could only get off a subcutaneous injection, which is just beneath the skin, so he had to inject her a second time. Ladies and gentlemen, dioxinal chloride does not render you unconscious. It renders you immobile, paralyzing all your muscles, including the ones that allow you to breathe. But you can still see, you can still feel. Until the moment of her death, Shannon Moore probably knew the horror of what was happening to her, but she was helpless to stop it. She couldn't speak, she couldn't act, she couldn't even cry out for help. But you, the members of this jury, can both speak and act. And today you must. You must cry out for justice for Shannon Moore. Thank you.
There's a lot of rage and a lot of pain in this room. A young woman in the prime of her life is dead. It's terribly unfair, and we want to reach out and punish someone for that. We can't punish God, but Mr. Mandel will furnish us a scapegoat. It's his job to convince you that you can purge your anger by seeking vengeance on my client. You could go home tonight secure in the knowledge you have helped society avenge a senseless murder. It's a satisfying feeling. There's just one problem. My client, David Davis, did not murder his wife. Every single piece of evidence that the state has presented has been circumstantial. None of it is direct. No one saw a murder. No one testified that they sold drugs supposedly used in a murder to David Davis. The so-called evidence about dioxinal chloride is so much scientific gobbledygook. It's one man's pet theory, but it's not fact. Ladies and gentlemen, mourn Shannon Davis. Grieve for her parents' loss. But do justice to. Set David Davis free. Thank you.
Hey, how long have you been out? A couple of hours.
We just wanted to say that no matter how this turns out, thanks to the both of you.
We think you both have done everything you possibly could to help us.
Listen, Seal, without your and Bob's determination, none of us would be here.
Especially Dave.
Well, we'll just have to say a silent prayer.
Amen. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have been advised that you have arrived at a verdict, which has just been handed to me, and which I will now read. Mr. Davis, please rise. In the case number 90-407B, the people of the state of Michigan versus David R. Davis, the jury finds the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree.
Please, some order. Please, let's have some order in this court.
Mr. Davis, do you have a statement at this time?
Your Honor, I would only say that I have committed no crime.
Mr. Davis, I will at this time remand you into custody of the sheriff. This court is in recess.
about your revenge today?
Well, this has never been about revenge. It's about Shannon.
That's right. All we could try to do is give her some justice, and I think we did that. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Davis, you are educated, articulate, and clever. The murder of Shannon Moore took place only after months or years of planning. That is the kind of act perpetrated on society, and especially upon your wife, the prisons are made for. And that, Mr. Davis, is where you will spend the rest of your life, in prison, without the possibility of parole.
Honey, let's go home.